Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived 3 brothers. When their old father passed away, he left behind only a mill, a donkey, and a cat. The youngest brother, Hans, got the cat, and he sighed, thinking he had the worst luck. But this was no ordinary cat. He was clever, wore a little pair of boots, and could talk. Puss in Boots told Hans not to worry, promising to make his fortune. The next morning, Puss in Boots asked Hans for a sack and a pair of shiny boots. He put on his boots, slung the sack over his shoulder, and set off into the fields. He cleverly caught some plump rabbits and took them to the king's castle. Bowing deeply, he presented the rabbits as a gift from his master, the Marquis of Carabas, Hans's new fancy name. The king was delighted by the generous gifts. For days, Puss in Boots kept bringing the king fresh game, always saying it was from the Marquis. The king became curious and wanted to meet this mysterious nobleman. One sunny afternoon, Puss in Boots brought Hans to the river and told him to bathe. Just then, the king's carriage rolled by. Puss cried out that thieves had stolen his master's clothes. The king, recognizing the name, immediately ordered fancy clothes for Hans and invited him into his carriage. As they traveled, Puss in Boots ran ahead, telling workers in the fields to say their land belonged to the Marquis of Carabas if the king asked. The workers, fearing the clever cat, agreed. The king was amazed by the vast lands and wealth he saw. Soon they reached a grand castle owned by a wicked ogre. Puss in Boots tricked the ogre into turning into a mouse, then swiftly gobbled him up. The castle was now empty, and Puss invited the king, Hans, and the princess inside. Impressed by the Marquis's riches and kindness, the king offered Hans his daughter's hand in marriage. Hans and the princess fell in love and soon celebrated a grand wedding in the castle. Puss in Boots became the most famous and trusted advisor in the land. Hans never forgot that it was his clever cat, with his shiny boots and quick thinking, who had changed his life forever. And so, they lived happily ever after, proving that a little cleverness and a pair of boots can lead to great adventures.